What's going on, guys? As I was sitting here working on my pedal board, as you can see behind me, that's my little pedal board workstation. I was coming to a conclusion that deciding on what pedals you want to use pretty hard. So I decided to do a quick little video on, that the wild world of pedals that we live in and how difficult and challenging it can be, and a little bit overwhelming when you look at all the pedals that we could use to shape our own sound. So with that, we'll start the video. Let me preface by saying that you don't need 20 or more pedals or a giant pedal board or the most expensive pedals out there to serve God and to do what you do on the worship stage. Just what you have is good enough for Him. I live by a rule that before I buy new gear, I have to sell old gear because it's not cheap. It can get very expensive when you start looking into the different types of pedals that there are and what you might need for your pedal board. Choosing the right pedal for your pedal board can be very challenging. And did you know that a lot of famous guitarists have upwards of 20 pedals or more on their pedal board? They literally have what they need at their feet, such as Hislop or Edward E. with Elevation Worship. So those types of guys, those are two guitarists, musicians that I love their sound, and that's kind of who are my role models, so to speak, or those that inspire me to have a great tone when it comes to my guitar tone and playing it. Guitar pedals are extremely important for shaping our sound as a guitarist. It helps us decide our sound, to get your sound and what you want to be heard at church, in your mix, or whatever that you're doing or where you're playing. If you're just playing at home because you love to play guitar, recording, but you want to develop your own sound and to get that sound that it's highly sought after in the work community. So that can be challenging, but we do that through all the pedals, amps that we have on our board, whether you're running amp simulators or you're actually out there plugging it to a live amp. But you use the amp to shape your tone from the start, and then you have the pedals to add to that to do things that the amp itself cannot do. So when we talk about that, we're talking about pedals such as delay pedals, reverb pedals, overdrive or distortion pedals, compressors, modulation, and there's many, many more pedals out there that I'm not gonna lie, I don't know all of them. I just know the ones that I need to achieve the sound that I want. So with that being said, we use those pedals to develop our signature sound. Therefore, I felt there needs to be some type of understanding on how different pedals work, how to combine them, and how guitarists use them to develop and shape their tone. When I first started looking into standalone pedals, it was very overwhelming for me. I got into the worship community using a Line 6 Helix, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't cheat, but I just bought the sounds and song templates and everything else that were made by worship tutorials or David himself. I bought those, and that was just easy. It was just plug, play. I just chose that preset, and then I plugged in my guitar and I played that Sunday morning. But as I've been playing longer, I wanted to become my own person. I wanted to make my own signature sound, so to speak, because I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be able to express myself and not just use someone else. Now, that's not saying anything for those that are going to go out and buy templates by worship tutorial or David Islip or anyone else that sells, also a worship leader who has some great templates for the HX Stomp. Fantastic, because I ran the HX Stomp for a little while. And I'd use some of his templates. But that's nothing to say that there's anything wrong with going that route by any means, because dialing in tone and dialing in these different sound and these different modulation sounds when it comes to specific guitar parts can take up a lot of time, and I'm finding that out by using these different pedals, standalone pedals. But the Line 6 Helix It's like your flagship model. A lot of people in the work community use it, and even outside of the working community, they use it as well. But that is probably going to be the best because, I mean, you get all the pedals you want, at least models of all the pedals you want in the world, essentially, all right there inside of that pedal board, and you can use it, plug and play however you want. Also, I had the HX Stomp on my first pedal board build, and it was the heart of that build. So the HX Stomp can do a lot of things. It can do the same thing as the Helix. It doesn't have enough DSP, so what that means is it just doesn't have enough power to be able to, when I say power, like processing power, to be able to use everything that the Helix can use at one time. So that's the only drawback, but it's not such a big drawback to where you would have an issue with what you're wanting to do. Just want to take a minute to say that if you are enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and help support this channel as I'm trying to grow this channel for those in the community, just musicians in general. It's not just the worship community, although that is where I play and that is where I do a lot of my content is in the worship setting. But this isn't just for worshipers or worship musicians. This is for any guitarist or any musician that's looking into building their own pedal board and getting into creating their own sound. It doesn't matter your background. I love you. Jesus loves you. And just know that everyone can get some type of valuable content out of this, which I'm hoping I am providing. So once again, if you're enjoying the content, just like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But I ran that with just a couple other standalone pedals, such as the Jet pedals. I had their Lamb Overdrive, their Lion Distortion, and their Revelation version 2 reverb pedal. And then I also had the Timeline and an Expression pedal, and that's really all I used. And it worked great. I mean, even if you were to buy just an HX Stomp standalone unit, you could use that and it'd be perfectly fine. You only get 3 foot switches when you use it that way, so you only get 3 snapshots. But you can also expand and buy different expansions for foot switches. You can buy a little cheap 2-switch, and it'll give you the option of having 5-foot switches. Or there's even companies out there that will make add-ons for the for the HX Stomp, and it'll give you even more pedals, up to 6 or 7, not pedals, but 6 or 7 switches to use and click on to change what you want. And that right there, you're saving a lot of money, and you're getting a lot inside of that small unit. It's such a small footprint, and you can do so much with it. So just know that there are ways to go on a cheaper route and still achieve that great tone. But when you talk about building a pedal board and having a lot of standalone pedals, you come across so many, and there's so many different ones. So I recommend doing some research, watching videos of those pedals that you're interested in to see what type of sound you can get. I'm very picky, and I like to listen to people play the pedal that I want, also hoping that they are using the type of guitar that I run. So as you can see behind me, I have my pedal board here. It's a great pedal board. I love it. I'm still building and expanding and trying to find myself with my tone. And so there are some changes coming to this board here soon, which I plan to make a video on how I go about doing it. But just know that the world of pedals is huge. With that, we talk about overdrive and distortion. Those types of pedals are going to give you that gritty sound. The overdrive is going to be a little bit less gritty. They're not going to be as overdriven, obviously, as a distortion. But they're going to give you that sound. They're going to give you a little bit more grip. They're going to just give you that oomph when it comes to playing those lead lines and what you do. Distortion is great if you're trying to achieve that higher gain sound, referred to as metal or even heavy rock. I love that sound. But Jet pedals make some great pedals. I run the Lamb still because it has so many different options. That could literally be my standalone overdrive pedal. But it's not. I have 2 overdrive pedals, and for what I want to achieve, that's all I need. The distortion, I bought it. I didn't use it very much because I just never found the need for it outside of the Lamb. I do stack my drives, and I felt like when I had the distortion pedal, it was a little bit too much and I could achieve what I needed just by changing the preset on the lamp overdrive. So it's fantastic. When you talk about like reverb, I run the Big Sky, but I also did run the Jet Revelations reverb, Radiant Reverb version 2. Fantastic. It was amazing. The only reason I sold it is because, like I said, I sell gear before I purchase new gear, and I got the Big Sky because I always wanted one. But I do wish that I would have kept the Jet Pedals Revelation, kept it around, because I would like to make a mini pedal board build to use for others to use at my church, or for me if I'm just going to go play somewhere real quick or don't want to carry this really with me everywhere I go. So that is an option. When you talk about delay pedals, there are many delay pedals out there. I run the timeline, and the main reason I have the timeline because of this reverse delay. There are a few songs that I played that require that reverse delay, and unfortunately there aren't a ton of other delay pedals out there that can achieve that for me. So that's why I have that one. But the Jet Pedals Eternity pedal, it sounds amazing. It is really good. I haven't owned one, but I watched a lot of videos on it. And it can achieve almost anything that I needed it to achieve except for what that one reverse delay. So for me, that was my deciding factor on that. So if you have these certain sounds that you're going for, just know what you're getting into, know what pedals can do it, know which pedals cannot. Which leads me into modulation. I run the Mobius. I don't run modulation that often, but when I do, the Mobius is fantastic. There are some other ones by Jackson Audio and a couple other brands that, I'm sorry, not Jackson Audio, but I'm thinking about Walrus Audio. They have some pedals that can do what you need. Jackson Audio may, I'm not sure. Just something I never looked into for them. But I do run their compressor, which we'll talk on in a second. But when we talk about modulation, the Mobius does everything and more than what I need it to do. When it comes to the worship community, like there are a lot of different sounds that you need to go for that have this real unique characteristic to it, and that's great. And so the Mobius does it for me. But I didn't dive too deep when I wanted to go out looking for modulation pedal. That's just pretty much, since I already had the other two Strymon pedals, I just went with the third and got the Strymon. But then we talk about compression, compressor pedals. I didn't understand compression and so once I had to build my own board, I really needed to dive into the world of compressors. And what I went with was the Jackson Audio Blue. Fantastic pedal. Not only does it have compression, which really what compression does is that, you got your ceiling of your sound and you got the floor of your signal, I should say. And it really brings down those louder signals, the high signals, and brings up your lower, and it kind of makes an even sound. So the Jackson Audio compressor, not only does it have compression, but it has a mix of my wet and dry signal, and I can control the output. But on top of that, it also has EQ for the mids, the lows, and highs. So I can also EQ my sound on top of the EQ I have in my amp. That's one of the other things. And the third thing it has is it has a balloon setting, which is essentially your boost, that you can control the amount of boost you have. You can also control ramping of that boost. Instead, if you want slowly, there's so many different things with that pedal. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. And not only those that I've already mentioned, it also has several different, I want to say seven different modes of compression, and that really pertains to like the attack, of how fast, how slow the attack is on the compressor. So fantastic. So what I really recommend is that you do your research, you look around, and you also go onto YouTube, find some videos of some pedals that you would like to hear. That's what I plan to do. I would love to do a series on the pedals behind me. Ones if you want a specific sound or you want to hear a sound sample that specific pedal, I would love to do it. I mean, right now I'm going through and trying to dial in tone for the Tonex. So I have two of these little guys, two of these Tonex pedals, and this is what I'm going to start using for amp and cab simulation. So 2 of these pedals, they're going to run left and right. And right now I'm trying to find that sound for me. I'm trying to figure out what sound works for me, what amp settings work. So I plan to do a video on how these can help you achieve the sound that you want to get. So these pedals are amazing. They're modelers. This can model an amp, cab, it can model any other overdrive pedal, fuzz pedal, whatever you need to, it can do it. So I will do a series on that, on how I'm dialing in my tone, because I didn't know how to go about it. And so I would like to help those of you that were in the same boat as me, or are in the same boat as me when you first started looking into building your own pedal board. So just know that that's coming. But if you have any questions about any of the pedals on my board, like, comment below your favorite pedal, and I'd love to look into it, or one that you're looking into. But just for reference, I do have a video of my pedal board rundown. If you'd like to see, you can comment on that video and let me know what pedal that you saw that you are interested in, that you're looking into. Maybe you want me to do a sound sample of it, so you can kind of hear the different tones you can get out of it. But just let me know. I would love to do that for you guys. So once again, I appreciate you guys watching the channel, and those of you that have subscribed, I appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so.